You may be one of the lucky ones who plan to retire early, but the Canadian Institute of Actuaries is nudging us to work a little bit longer. It's proposing that the retirement age be pushed from 65 to 67, so you can get greater benefits. For more on this, we're joined now by Jacques Tremblay. He's the partner with the actuarial consulting practice at Oliver Wyman and one of the lead authors of the report. Good to see you, Jacques.
Good afternoon, Greg. How are you?
Not too bad, other than the fact finding out that I may be working another 20 years instead of 18, but this is still a bit down the road for me. But the proposal here is that we will be in better shape, both as retirees and perhaps overall for the health of these plans, if we push that age to 67?
That's correct. What we're trying to nudge Canadians. The people are living longer. Interest rates are at an all-time low. These plans were designed in 1966. You can expect a Canadian today, 65 years old, to live till the age of 85. The trends as well are that people are working longer, and we expect that in 10, 15 years, my children won't need to retire at 62 or 65, but longer. We want to increase the flexibility that the Canada Pension Plan and the Quebec Pension Plan currently have.
Now, that 2 years, that some people would look at it and say, oh man, an extra 2 years. So it's not a huge amount of time in the grand scope of things, but what kind of difference does that make in terms of the benefits we could receive and the health of the program overall?
Those benefits are huge. Our recommendation or our proposal, which is different than what we've heard in the past, is we're not penalizing any Canadian if they want to retire at age 65. We're saying you're going to receive the same amount of money that you received in the past. Actuarially, we can leave it as is. You will get 16.8% more in pension for the rest of your life if you work just 2 more years. If you work 5 more years to the age of 70, you will get 40% more. One thing I didn't realize as well, even as an actuary, is that the best protection you can have against longevity and inflation is the Canada Pension Plan. You will be paid for life, and you will be protected against inflation. So working 2 more years is actually it's not a sacrifice, it's the right thing to do.
Now, in terms of this as well, do you find that when you do this work and you crunch the numbers that perhaps Canadians, I know there's been a concern about CPP and trying to beef it up because the idea is that we're just not saving enough on our own. We're not putting enough in RSPs. We don't have enough in company pensions. Is that what you're finding?
What I want to stress to Canadians is that the Canada Pension Plan and the old age security programs are financially sustainable. They have been, the projection are, the projection are clearly showing that these are sustainable for the next 75 years. We're not touching the sustainability of these plans. We're just saying people stay 2 more years and you'll get 16.8% in pension, which is excellent.
Now, in terms of registered retirement saving plans as well, we know that under the current rules in that year that you turn 71, you have to convert it into a RIF. I think this report is actually suggesting pushing that age out as well.
Correct. We would like all the late age, 70, that we have in Canada Pension Plan to be pushed to 75, and for registered retirement saving plans to be pushed to 75 as well. Allow Canadians to save for a longer period of time in light of the low interest rates and in light of the fact that they will live longer. Don't force somebody to take money out of their registered retirement income fund at the age of 71. Let them do it at age 75. People are expected to live till 85 years old.
How much of this is a boomer phenomenon as well? I think about that post-war generation. As they moved all the way through society, they changed everything, just the size of the cohort, and now they're in retirement. Are they a big catalyst behind this?
As we were working over this proposal for the last 18 months, labor shortage came as a key issue as well, all across Canada. The baby boomers are retiring, will retire, and it will cause a labor shortage. This will help the Canadian economy tremendously. These are key people, strong intellectual, lots of knowledge. We need to keep them in the workplace. We are also asking for registered pension plan to change the normal retirement age from 65 to 67. Allow people to accumulate benefit for those 2 more years.
Now, in terms of some of the shifts we've seen as well, my working career is about 20 years right now.
Yep.
When I started, there was still such a thing being offered to people like me called a defined benefit plan.
Yes.
And no one has offered that anymore. The defined contribution. Does this play into it as well? There's those traditional means of retirement just aren't being offered to an entire generation of people?
Absolutely. This is key. This is key, Greg. What we're trying to tell Canadians is accumulate savings clearly, but once you get to retirement, use your own capital first, because your own capital will not protect you against longevity and inflation. Then, by deferring receiving the Canada Pension Plan and the OAS, you will increase your benefit by 40–50% if you wait till 70 years old. And those are protected against inflation and longevity and will pay you for the rest of your life.
Now, my kids right now are almost 16 and 14. They both have birthdays coming up.
Yeah.
Will there ever be occasion for them to be sold the idea of Freedom 55, or is that just over now? Because when I started my working life, there was a lot of commercials. Freedom 55, I thought, that's not so bad, 55. I can make it till then. Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And the reality is, I started my career when I was 22 years old. I've got 3 children, and they're starting their career at 30 years old. So they're not going to work as long as I have. And they're going to live longer. And they have low interest rate to deal with. Freedom 55 is a good idea, but reality, it should be Freedom 67.
Freedom 67. All right. Thanks for joining us, Jacques.
Thank you, Greg.
That was Jacques Tremblay. He is partner with the actuarial consulting practice at Oliver Wyman.